Hello, and welcome to Leading the Standards with ATOL, where we explore the dynamic and engaging world of ISO management systems auditing, one episode at a time. Your hosts, triple certified ISO auditor and ATOL director Jackie Stapleton, and myself, Kelly Taylor, her ever-curious colleague, are here to guide you each week along with the live contributions from our wonderful ATOL student community. So join us, not just to meet the standards, but to lead them. So welcome everyone to Leading the Standards with ATOL, where we explore the ever-evolving world of ISO management systems and uncover the paths to turning your passion into a rewarding career. So as usual, I'm here with Jackie, who will drive the discussion while I throw in some curly questions and a surprise or two. Remember, we are live streaming our episodes to our live ATOL community audience, so the bloopers are free with every episode, and boy, there are a few from today already. So today we are breaking down edition 49 of our newsletter, which is covering the topics for those of you looking to transition into ISO consultancy. So we've packed this edition with 5-step guide to successfully transitioning your career, whether you're thinking about shifting from your current role or you're just starting out, and we've got some actionable insights to help you navigate this change confidently. So from enhancing your LinkedIn profile to establishing your industry presence, we'll dive into all of those essential strategies that can propel your career forward. So grab your coffee and let's get started. As I mentioned, in this episode, we will explore 5 essential tips to starting consulting in the ISO field and showcasing real-life applications and the enduring impact of the strategic career planning. Now, Jackie, you've interacted with many transitioning professionals, and I'm sure you can give us some guidance as to what the 5 steps that they should take are. But we've received another email. Thank you to the student that has sent this one through this week. And the email says, do you have any tips, how convenient, on how to start out consulting in the ISO field? I'm self-employed, running my own construction business, but looking to transition out of my 36 years of building over the next 12 to 18 months. Any advice you could give would be greatly appreciated. So, Jackie, what tips do you have for this student?
Yes, and I suppose before I give my short answer tip on that's just one of the types of questions we get and the background. So, normally anyone coming to us that has a question about transitioning into or building their own ISO consultancy has some experience in different fields or sectors or industries. That's just an example. It's a fantastic example because they have 36 years of experience in the construction industry. And you know what else stands out for me there? He's actually said he's looking to transition out of it over the next 12 to 18 months. So
nice to have a plan.
Yeah. And he hasn't said, in the next 4 weeks.
He's a realist.
Yeah, that's right. Because it just does not happen that quickly. Okay. And even 12 to 18 months, I would say, gives him enough time to start implementing these 5 steps that I share with everyone. But that's a standout to me, is you need to give yourself time. Okay. And the 5th step is being persistent and consistent. So persistent. All right. So Kelly always likes me to give a short answer first because I can ramble on. So my short answer to this are 5 steps that are a standout to me. These are the steps that I continually work on for myself. So you'll note continually, it's not something that stops. Okay, so the 5 are: update your professional profile, so LinkedIn, your resumes, whatever's relevant in your world. Networking and establishing contacts, more contacts. Establishing your presence as a thought leader, so visibility. Start small and scale, and I'll explain that further a bit later on. And as I said before, be persistent and consistent. All right, so they're the 5 tips. Now, as I said, I'm going to break them down, and believe me, Kelly and I can break these down for you. We'll get into detail, share our experiences, etc. That question actually, I suppose, prompted me to write the Leader Standard Edition 49, because this is what we're breaking down from here in this podcast episode. And I also thought, as I was breaking it down, before I start breaking down those 5 steps, I thought it might be important, Kelly, to understand what an ISO consultant is and what they actually do. Because it could be quite different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so the first thought when you hear ISO consultant, well, they build systems. Okay, they build systems based on ISO standards. And for me, instantly, it's just the 3 that I work in. It's quality, environment, and OH&S. Okay, but it could be food, it could be information security. So there's so many more standards, but that's what I think what we initially think an ISO consultant is. They go in, they take a look at your system, identify gaps, and then help you to implement.
I think that's important, that word help.
That's where I'm heading.
Focus on help.
Yeah, and when I say help, what does that mean to you?
Look, for me, the easy way out is to get a consultant who will do. But it's the easy way out, but it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you when an auditor comes along and asks, show me your system, and you say, need my consultant. You want a consultant that's there to help and guide and effectively mentor you through your system.
Yes.
Support you through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I always say to people that I work with now, I don't actually build systems anymore. You build it, I can review it. I'm an auditor. That's essentially what I'm doing. I'll review what you've built, but I'm not building it. Okay. So look, there's a lot of stuff. It's great to have templates. We even have templates here that we provide to our students. However, they're there as a guide to get you started. Yeah. Okay, here's something that you can use. But there are some systems out there where consultants have basically just dumped this entire system and gone, what is it? Control F, replace all.
Control F, control.
Yeah, and changed the company name. And I've audited those systems as well. So yeah, I think that's a key point. But I think when you're starting off and you're looking at becoming an ISO consultant, when I work with my clients, it's about, well, what is it that you want to do? ISO consultant is very broad. What does it look like for you? And it is about honing down where your key skills are. It could be in a certain sector. I have one consultant that I work with, and she specializes in construction. That's it. That's where she's decided she wants to work, and it's tier 2. Okay, so she's even determined the size of the business and the industry. Okay, another consultant I've worked with, she is targeting the administration side of it. Okay, simply just the administration. When you look at any ISO management system, there's administration elements. So that's her target, to take that paperwork, that ongoing reporting, updating, document reviews, take that pressure away from businesses. So there's so many different elements, and it depends on your own experience as to what your ISO consultancy will offer. Okay. And it's okay that changes.
Find your niche.
Yes. What do you know what I've said before? Well, it came from Jane Anderson. I pinched it. Niche until it hurts. And you won't find your niche until you start. Yeah. Okay. You might start and it might be quite broad, and then you'll start niching, but niche until it hurts. Okay. And you'll find your spot. So I think that's important to understand before we break down those 5 steps. Yeah?
Agree.
Nothing else to add to that, Kelly?
No, I think that's a good place to start, having that understanding. And yeah, there's so many possibilities. It's just like auditing.
Yeah. And you'll see, by understanding what your consultancy is offering, You need to understand that first before you apply these 5 things. Because if you're updating your LinkedIn profile, for example, well, what are you putting up there? Just ISO consultant. What are you offering? What's your niche? And networking and establishing your contacts. Well, who are you targeting? You need to know what you're offering. So, and then establishing your presence and visibility, that should all be around what you're offering. And then you can start small and scale. And then that's persistence and consistency. So you really do need to understand first what it is that you're offering. Okay. And I just want to put it out there. I think I've already said it. It's okay to change your mind.
Yes.
Okay. I was actually listening to a meditation with Jay Shetty this morning. And this is weird how these things happen. He was talking about when you put something new out into the world, like a new idea, that you need people to test it, to check it, and I always say test and learn, test and learn. So this is going up a similar path. If you think, well, this is what I'm focusing on, we'll start putting it out there. But it's okay to change it. You can't change and improve unless you make a start.
And if you put an idea out there that you initially are in love with, and then as you work through that and you start to fall out of love with that, you're not going to be successful. You need to give yourself permission, to quote Rach from Girl Director, give yourself permission to change and adapt. And that's how you succeed. But if you feel, as you said, if you feel like you've made a decision and you need to stick with that, as soon as you start falling out of love with it rather than adapting, then that's when things are not going to turn out the way that you want and that you hope.
Yeah. And when you were saying that, I sort of went like this, because it makes me feel uncomfortable. So, and especially if you're offering it to your prospective client. So it's us, for ATOL, if we're offering something that you just don't feel comfortable with, it's like, So you need to feel comfortable that what you're offering, you're comfortable with. Okay. It's great. It will benefit them. So, and it's okay if it gets to the point, as Kelly said, that you start feeling, change it. It's test and learn, test and learn.
There's always room for version 2.0.
There is. That's what we live by, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next version. Because and that's another thing. Otherwise, you'll never get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop talking and we'll start moving through the 5 topics. So the first one was updating your professional profiles. So I always focus on LinkedIn, and I know for me personally and professionally and ATOL as well, we found LinkedIn is our best platform channel. I don't know what the proper term is. But it's sort of that business to business, and we found it most beneficial, even though ATOL is across all platforms. So I do tend to focus on LinkedIn a little bit, but obviously whatever I talk about with LinkedIn, you can apply across to other platforms. So there's a few things with your LinkedIn profile. Okay, updating your profile itself. Your professional image is always nice as well. Yeah. Not someone laying on the beach or anything like that, but it's got to be you as well. So, don't be stiff and boring if you're not stiff and boring. So, make sure the image that you have does represent you. But then I think the next important part is your profile or your bio itself. So there's a few key words there. You've got the opportunity to share. So, if you can go and look at mine and go and look at Kelly's as well, you'll see some great examples of those key words that we use. ISO standards, for me, it's career consulting as well, quality expert, all of those. It's sort of like a bit of SEO on LinkedIn. That's how they find you. And then there is the about section. And I'm going to say it again. Don't make it like all stiff and boring. Like, what are the challenges that you help people with? Let them relate to the challenges so they can go, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, I'm going through that. Oh, this person really knows how to help me. Okay, so use it to, and I suppose it is marketing.
Yeah, you're marketing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the first important thing with LinkedIn. Make sure, and Kelly, you're probably more of an expert on this than me, make sure that your education, qualifications, work experience is all up to date and current.
Yeah, and I think that's important too. As most of our adult community know, we've recruited a fair bit over the last 9 months. We've had 3 new team members come on, and we're looking to do that again. And as someone who was on the receiving end of all of those resumes and LinkedIn profiles, etc., it was really frustrating to find people applying for a job where their resume didn't match their LinkedIn profile. So if you're going out and selling yourself to somebody as somebody who is great with management systems or document management and document review your own documents. Make sure your own stuff, like practice what you preach. Make sure that what you are selling about yourself is consistent. Your message is consistent. I don't need to know what high school you went to if you are 40 or above. Like, that's irrelevant. But I do need to know what you've done with yourself in the last 10 years or last 3 or 4 careers. And as Jackie said, what challenges you've faced, and be open. Actually, one thing too, even in a consultant, this applies to consultants, job applicants, auditors. If you've got a gap in your resume, own it. I found that was really, really important. And that might be education. It might be illness. It might be parenting, because you see us all the time. We're using examples of how parenting applies to auditing. The same thing applies to consulting, negotiating. I think it's really important. Practice what you preach and make sure that you are selling a consistent message about yourself that is current, accurate, and honest. Be honest, because you will.
Very true. Yeah, very true. So that is all just all about updating your profile and being transparent, which is a personal behaviour of an auditor anyway, which should also be those of a consultant.
I agree.
So that's a great segue, and I'm going to be naughty and skip, because we had, like, step 1 was update your professional profiles, but I actually think that's a good segue to step 3, which maybe should be step 2 instead. And it's about visibility. So establishing your presence, and I've put as a thought leader, because that's what people want to see. Your thoughts, not that you're a robot just repeating what the standards say. Okay, start challenging, start thinking about, well, what does this actually mean to me? Okay, and I actually said this to a client yesterday. I said, the things that you post about, and sorry, this is about sharing, posting on that brilliant LinkedIn profile that you've just updated. It's starting to put yourself out there. That's what I mean by establishing your presence as a thought leader.
And it's not just your profile, it's profiles that are relevant, and pages and groups and all of those things.
Exactly. That's the next. So there's posting, and then there's like contributing and commenting. So there's 3 things that go in line with getting yourself visible. But I think most people are scared of posting, and when they do post, sometimes I see some posts and I just cringe. It's like a regurgitation of the standard, or it's a regurgitation. They've just plugged it into ChatGPT, and it's like, it's got no soul
deep diving
to it.
into their thoughts.
I know, you can see those words, let's deep dive, or hop on a magic carpet ride and stuff like that. So we use ChatGPT all the time, but use it for ideas, and you can change it. And sorry?
It's a template. Use it.
Yes,
as a template.
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So make it yourself. And as I was saying, I was talking to a client yesterday about this very thing, And I said, the things that will get you the most traction are the things that you're thinking about at 2:00 in the morning when you can't sleep. Because you're like these things, I'm sure you can all relate. These things are like rummaging through your head. I come up with the best ideas at 2:00 in the morning. Ask Kelly.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just
at least you don't ring them
ideas.
through me. That's the only thing.
No, not them.
I do come in often and there's a Slack there at 2:00 in the morning saying, did you do this? Have we done this? What about this idea? There's a new improvement register entry at 1:00 this morning. Look at that.
Yeah. That's where you come up with the best stuff. And with your posts and what you share are exactly the same, because you're laying there thinking, about challenges you've had, whether it be with systems or people. And then you think, oh, that would actually be a good post. That's something to share, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. Mm-hmm. So, as you start doing that, you'll start coming up with even more stuff. Right. And then, as Kelly said, it's not just about posting your own stuff. It's about commenting on others. Okay. So get yourself in with, I always follow companies that are in industries that I like to work with. There's also like the groups like Exemplar Global, ASQ, AOQ. There's heaps of, say, 9001 groups. Some are really good, some are not so good, but just find your place. And then once you start connecting to all of those groups or companies, you'll find the people that are attached to it as well. And just start contributing. Well, I'll say commenting on those posts, because contributing is different again. There's articles that are written. You get invited to contribute to different articles and put your 2 cents worth. This is thought leadership.
Yeah. And Jackie, I just want to go back there to, you said find the groups that work with you. And I think that's really important, to not go to every group that's related to that topic, because as a consultant, you have the opportunity to choose the people that you work with. So if you're in the groups and that you're not comfortable with, and they're the clients you're going to start attracting.
Exactly.
So if you're in that group with people that you don't like and you've got differing opinions, you're either not going to get any clients because you've got differing opinions, or you're going to get clients that you don't like. So if you're in a group, you don't like it, it's okay to leave. Find the people in the group that work for you, your style, your everything. You need to, again, enjoy and be comfortable in what you're doing. Yeah.
But I think you made a good point there. It's also about attracting the people that you want to work with.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's why I said some of those groups are really good, some not so good. So then just stop following them. Again, it's trial and error, test and learn. See if you get anything out of it to help you move forward. Okay, so
straight.
Exactly. So that's why I was naughty and I moved number 3 to number 2, because I thought it was a better segue than going, like, we set up our profile and then we start using our profile for good. Yeah. So that's the second step. The third step now, and this feeds into this also. Kelly and I talked about networking. Oh, it's a great segue. Networking and establishing contacts.
Maybe exactly what Kelly this place.
I know. Not until I started talking about it out loud did I realize I think it's out of order, because this feeds into itself. And Kelly, you've taken it there naturally anyway, because the next one is networking and establishing contacts for exactly the reasons that you just said. Because when you start commenting and contributing and joining groups, you're actually establishing those contacts as well. Okay. And this is new stuff, new contacts. Don't forget, though, that you have an existing network. Okay. And I've been a pain with this for decades, we'll say. I am still in contact with people I worked with over 25, 30 years ago. Still send them text messages, still send emails, phone. Okay. Oh, sometimes I get phone calls on my birthday even from them. So I'm a big one for like keeping the door open, because all of these people over the years that you've worked with, you don't know when they need you or when you need them as well. And I suppose this is when I moved into working for myself. I can't even remember what year that was. I was going to try and remember.
A little while ago.
I can't remember now. So I went, I was just like maybe a lot of you. I was an internal auditor, a quality and environmental manager. So I worked on a salary. But then I had made the decision that I was going to leave my nice, warm, cozy salary position and go out on my own. I'd made it, 12, 18 months. Maybe I'd been thinking about it for years. Okay. And I'm sure all of you relate to that. So what I did when I actually made that step was I contacted, and by email, and some with a follow-up phone call, depending on what my relationship was with them. But I emailed all of the people that I knew and had come into contact with over the previous couple of decades and let them know what I was doing. Okay. And sorry, this was probably pre-social media, but I think MySpace was around then, Kelly.
What was your profile music there, Jackie?
I still remember the desk I was sitting at and, setting up MySpace. So there was no social media. That's why I'm saying email. You may do it, a little bit differently nowadays. But the point is, I let my existing network and contacts know, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my change. And out of that, I had several opportunities. Okay. And one of them actually was to deliver classroom training. Okay. And then the rest is history. So staying in contact throughout, keeping the door open and just always communicating. This goes back to what Kelly said earlier, being transparent, okay, being open, transparent in what you're doing, letting people know here's a change.
I think it's important, though, to do that, Jackie, as you said, for those you're like keeping in contact with, because you want to maintain those relationships for that reason. Yeah. If you are touching base again with somebody who you worked with 25 years ago, but you haven't spoken to in 25 years, that's a little bit different.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it can come across weird. So you can do it, but do it differently. Don't say, hi, it's me, remember? This is what I'm doing now. Re-establish those relationships. No one likes that pyramid scheme person coming and knocking on the door all of a sudden going, look, I've started this new little side hustle. Would you like to buy some perfumes?
Yeah.
And now I'd like you to sell these perfumes. Nobody likes that. It's weird. It feels false and
No, of course, it's only if what your change is and what you're doing is relevant.
And that's the other point. Make sure it's relevant to that person.
Yes. Like, can you help them? Can they help you? Yeah. And that's why I said initially, like, I emailed them, but some of them I had a follow-up phone call because I had a longer term or a consistent relationship with them that we had been talking regularly.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Step 5. Look at that.
Yeah. But I'm not going to number 5 yet. I'm going to number 4 because that is in the right order.
Good.
Now, when Kelly read out the question earlier and I pointed out what a great plan, because the question was over the next 12 to 18 months. And when I read that, I breathe a sigh of relief, because honestly, some people that I talk to think that they can leave their job and within a month or two I don't know, they've got enough clients and they're making, equivalent to their salary, and they're just going to keep going and going. Honestly, if it was that simple, everyone would be doing it. Okay, it is not that simple, and that's where that persistence and consistency comes into play, which is the last step. But also, it's not an all or nothing. Okay, that's why I say start small and scale. And I think I used this last week, Kelly, a portfolio career.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So do it on the side. Okay.
But it's not a side hustle.
It's not. I don't no. If it's a side hustle, I'm happy with that. If you're happy that it's a side hustle, but if you call it a side hustle, but you want it to be your main income source, it's not a side hustle. Please don't call it that, because what you think is what happens. So, it's something that you're growing. And the gentleman, and I can't remember his name, that sent that email, he's already got a plan, because he's saying he's going to transition over the next 12 to 18 months. So he's going to stay in his construction business while starting this plan. Okay. And that's what I've done my whole entire life. I've had little notebooks everywhere as I've been working. Okay, this is my next plan. How do I start this? This is my next plan. And I do it on the side while I'm holding on to my existing role and starting something new. Okay, I don't just dump everything and then dive into the next one, because actually, Kelly, doesn't this go back to test and learn?
Yeah. What if it fails? Well, at least you've got a backup plan.
Yeah. And it gives you some space to fail and learn, because you're not feeling pressure, and especially when we get to, I'll say our age. I know you're younger than me, but we've got mortgages. Well, our kids are grown up, but we've got responsibilities. And so we feel this pressure to continue to earn an income, to continue to pay the bills. So we feel this pressure, oh no, I can't try something that I really want to do because I've still got to pay the bills. So if you do it on the side and just test and learn and do it a little bit at a time, then you can move across at any given time, because you've established a smaller income. So for example, if you're working for an organization, and you might be, say it was like me, I was a quality and environmental manager and I wanted to become a consultant. Okay, I did become a consultant. So then you start exactly steps 1, 2, and 3 while you're still employed. Okay, 1, 3, and 2. While you're still employed, you can gain new clients. You can do small jobs on the side. It gives you a chance to develop your own systems and processes and templates and how you're going to manage it. Yes, it might be stressful for a little bit while you're juggling both, but at least you're getting that experience as you go, which is exactly what I did. And when I felt ready to go, you know what, I can do this now, I can see that what I've got works and people want it, then you can make that decision so much more comfortably to make the leap across. Okay, it removes that pressure for you. So that's that portfolio career. Yeah. I actually just noticed when I wrote, was it 49? Lead the Standard 49. I get confused with all the different, I've written so many. We're doing Lead the Standard 49. I just remembered when I wrote that, and if you read the newsletters, I like particularly quoting Harvard Business Review articles. I did find an article, and it was called Why Consultants Quit Their Jobs to Go Independent. So I thought, well, this is a good segue because I've just noticed it there. So why consultants quit their jobs to go independent, which is in line with what I just said. They may be consulting for another, for a company on salary, but you might not be a consultant. You might, as I said, I was a quality environmental manager for ISO systems. And then I quit my job to go independent as a consultant. So in this HBR article, they referred to a survey of workers in the US and Europe. And they found that approximately 25 to 35% say they freelance for some portion of their work income. Okay, so I'll say it again. 25 to 35% say they freelance for some portion of their work income. So they're working on as a salary and they're freelancing on the side. 25 to 35%. Yeah. Yeah. And they did say that while they refer to gig workers, like they do say gig workers tend to center on lower skilled and lower compensated gig work. So I don't know, like it's that Lyft, Uber, Amazon Flex, that sort of thing. But in the recent UK research, again, in the same article, it said that 59% of the gig economy are knowledge and professional workers. And only 16% of them are the drivers and delivery workers.
Yeah. How often do you get in an Uber and you start a conversation? They're like, oh yeah, I'm a doctor. Oh yeah, I'm an accountant. Oh, I'm a engineer. And you're like, what are you doing here? Oh, I like people. I like building relationships. I like hearing stories. Oh, I like a little bit of extra cash to take my family.
Yeah. But really, they could be doing their own, specialty on the side more as a service. They might earn more money than driving an Uber.
Yeah.
But, we all do think that that's the majority of people that have their side income are those, lower compensated, types of tasks. But I'll just repeat it before we move on. 59% of that gig economy are actually like knowledge and professional workers, which is what we are. Okay. And 25 to 35% do this on the side. I don't sort of like saying on the side, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Portfolio careers. So it's not like we're the first people to invent it. Like people are already doing it. So it's not something new. All right. So I suppose I wanted to share that because you're not on your own. You're not the first person to try this. And that's what worked for me. It's still working for me. Okay. I still get bored with one thing and I want to start something new. So I just start it and then just scale it. Okay. So, find what you want to do. I'll go back to the beginning just as a recap. Identify, like as Kelly said, niche, identify what it is that you want to do, and then follow those initial steps. So your profile, start visibility, so posting, contributing, and what was the other one? Your network, your existing network, building a new network. And then, of course, now you've got that in place, you can start small and scale. And then finally, don't stop. And I'm actually guilty of this at the moment. I've been a bit slack on LinkedIn, and I've realized that for the last few weeks, I need to continue and be more consistent. And this is what happens, and Kelly even knows this with ATOL and our marketing, when it wasn't the focus. It's something that you go, oh, I don't have time for that.
Mm.
Yeah. And for me, because I'm old, it just takes me so long to post something. It's like, which buttons am I pressing?
Using two fingers or?
I know. And you just think, oh, no, I can't figure it out. But the more you do it, the more you understand the quickest, best way to do it, how to post, how to repost, share, contribute. Actually, that's something I am very consistent with. I love contributing to LinkedIn articles. So I probably do that every day and give my 2 cents worth. It's like, oh, keyboard warrior here. So I am very consistent and persistent with that. So, and it's okay if you fall off the wagon at some point. You know, I was talking to a consultant I've been working with for years just yesterday. Yeah. And she said the same thing. Oh, I've been so slack. And then all of a sudden she's up posting again. So we do have to keep this top of mind and just always be in front of people. Okay. Because, and I know it seems like you're doing this on your own and it's lonely, but people are watching, I guarantee you.
Yeah. I think too, just to segue back to last week, if you're starting out, it doesn't hurt to get yourself a mentor or someone to help you through this process and hold you accountable. Check in. If you can't find a mentor specifically in this, find a confidant, friend, family member that will help you hold yourself accountable, because life happens. Of all people, we here know that life happens. And these things do stop, halt, change, pivot, whichever. But yeah, if you've got somebody there to lift you up and say, no, look, stuff's hit the fan, but that was last week. This is this week. Let's start again. Yeah.
No, that's actually a really good point. I think getting someone to keep you accountable and check in each week where you're at.
Yeah.
And I suppose as you say things out loud, it makes more sense. And, you know, bringing back to that word you said, Kelly, before, transparent. So I think possibly that's a great tie back to all of these 5 steps. So we've really made it 6 or 7 steps now.
We can keep going. We're not really good at stopping.
I know. Because I suppose to recap on what we've talked about, and then you can butt in if I've left anything out, Kelly. Like, we did have the initial 5 steps, but before we started the 5 steps, I mentioned about what was your consultancy? What were you going to do? Niche. So really that's number 1.
Look, always room for version 2.0, Jackie.
I know. So then the first step 1 was updating your professional profile. And then I went to the next step, which was actually step 3, and I made it step 2. And that was or did I?
Visibility. 1 through
2.
Yeah,
that's right. Visibility, because updating your profile is about visibility, and that's that posting, contributing and commenting. And then that led to the third one, which is your networking, your existing network, and then establishing new contacts. And Kelly, you made the great point of ensuring that they're people that you do want to work with. So that's what you'll be attracting. And then we talked about starting small and scaling, like a portfolio career. Then persistence and consistency. And what was the one that you added on just then?
That was 30 seconds ago, Jackie.
Oh, Kelly, what was it?
Oh, mentoring.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Accountability. See, look, I need someone to hold me accountable for my brain fog.
Yeah. But yeah, that having someone keep you accountable, that to me ties everything together.
Yeah.
So I think that's me for today. Do you have anything else to add?
No, but I am going to open up the floor to our ATOL community members. So those of you who are with us live streaming today on Zoom, there's quite a few of you today, which is great. Thank you. And those of you watching us on Facebook, if you have any questions about anything Jackie has asked, please throw them in the chat right now. But if you've got any questions about anything else in the ISO world that you'd like to talk to us about, this is an open Q&A session. Please, feel free to ask those questions as well. We are eager to discuss any of those topics. But I do have a question that has come through already, Jackie. It is, can I be an auditor and a consultant at the same time for the same organisation? If not, or if so, what's the difference?
You can conduct internal audits. In fact, being a consultant does include conducting internal audits, because when you think about it, as a consultant, you're reviewing their system to see what they've got, identifying the gaps and supporting them to fill the gaps, whether it's documentation or, implementing different processes. Where the conflict of interest lies is that if you're a consultant, then you cannot conduct the third party or certification audit. Okay, so you can't build a system for a client and then also be a certification auditor for a certification body or a conformity assessment body, depends what you call them, a CAB or a CB, same thing. That's a conflict of interest, right? So that's, I think, where that conflict comes into play. But yeah, as a consultant, you should know and be conducting internal audits. And in fact, that's something I always say to the consultants that I work with as they're building their businesses is, like, if you're reviewing something in a system, or if you're having a Zoom with, top management or the operations team, record it as an internal audit, because you're reviewing stuff, you're finding gaps. Record it as an internal audit, so then you're building these records in the system already. Because in fact, that's all an audit is. Don't get me started on explaining that. That's all an audit is you're checking stuff and identifying gaps, and then the next step is to determine the corrective action. Mm-hmm. Does that answer that question, do you think?
I think so. And I'm just going to throw back to something we do say in a lot of our training around I suppose the objective of an audit, and I know this is slightly off. The objective of an audit is for us to determine whether or not the systems are conforming with the criteria, etc. And sometimes it is to help find opportunities for improvement. Sometimes it's not. But that's where your job as the auditor stops, is to find those opportunities for improvement. Yep. You're, as a consultant, so I'm going to quote Jackie, take your auditor hat on and put your consultant hat on. If you want to find the answers or implement those improvements, etc., that's when you're looking at the consultant side of things. So
yep.
Those are the two. I suppose it's a distinct difference, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's always good to keep it separate, because it can get a bit muddy. So as conducting internal audits, just focus on that objective to determine the extent of conformance with the agreed criteria. So what is it was meant to have been done? This is what we've identified. That's your auditor hat, as Kelly said. And then audit's done, audit report is completed. Then if you're the consultant, then you can sit down and work with them, and goes back to what I said earlier, help, and Kelly sort of picked up on that word, help them to determine what the corrective action is, because you as a consultant don't want to, have to do everything. And actually, I was going to tell a story with that earlier. It happened to me a few years ago, exactly what you said. I was a certification auditor. The consultant was there on day one. It was a construction company. He wasn't on day 2 and 3. Some family emergency happened, and nobody could answer my questions from a few key high-risk areas, and he was not contactable, the consultant. So I raised non-conformances. They just did not know anything about their system, because they were so used to just having the consultant do it for them. And that's not their system then.
A good consultant will not just help, but empower people about their system.
Yes.
They will make people fall in love with their system. Again, It's like working to make yourself redundant. You won't lose that client if you build that relationship and they are comfortable and confident in their systems. You're only going to gain referrals and improve, like when they have improvements, or when their system grows or products grow. Yeah. So you're not, by handing over ownership and empowering your client to own their system, you're not going to lose them and the work. It's only going to create more opportunities for you with them and with others.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you for those answers, Jackie. That was our only questions today. We haven't had any others in there. So As we do close today's episode, we do want to thank everybody who has joined us. As I said, quite a few of you here with us in the live stream. So remember, every step you take towards understanding and leveraging your ISO standards will pave the way to your a transformative career. So keep pushing those boundaries and the new possibilities. As I said, ATOL students, ATOL community members, our past and present students participating in these live Q&A sessions, just like this one, is one of the many exclusive perks of your enrolment. For those of you who have not yet enrolled and are listening to our podcast live, also playback, I don't know what it's called that way, or watching us on YouTube, please do visit our website and discover how you can make a significant change to your career and how you can become a member of the ATOL community as well. So thank you again, Jackie, and everybody who has joined us today. So until next time, keep leading the standards, and goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us once again as we lead the standard. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast for more episodes just like this. And don't forget to leave a review if you found today's episode informative and inspiring. If you're already an ATOL student, remember participating in live Q&A sessions just like this is one of the exclusive perks of your enrolment. And if you're not already a student, join us at our website, www.auditortrainingonline.com, to learn more about our courses and how you can start making a difference in your career in ISO management system standards. So join us again next week as we not just meet the standards, but we lead them.